What's going on, Bucs fans? You're watching Bucs Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Reid Bartkus. Wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching, hope you're having a great day. Today's show, we're going to be talking about Mike Evans' replacements for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know if I ever thought I'd utter those words on this show, but it is reality. This guy, not on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers anymore. So today we're going to be talking about who can we get to replace Mike Evans. Obviously, we can't replace a superstar Hall of Fame veteran wide receiver that is going to produce 1,000 yards every season. We're not just going to pull that out of the street. Like that is just not going to happen. Let's be real. But we do, now maybe we need another guy in this room because Emeka Buka slots in at that wide receiver 1. Chris Godwin as well. I think using him more in the slot as well. We'll see what Zac Robinson has in store for this new offense. But obviously Jalen McMillan serving that number 2 role. And then Tez Johnson, and a lot of the other guys more, Cameron Johnson it's just special teams. But should we add another guy? Because Mike Evans is not on the Bucs anymore, which is still crazy for me to say. But we have to get to a goal of 1.5 subs on this channel. I am all out of sorts right now because I can't believe that I'm almost at 1,500. We are almost at 1,500 subscribers on this channel, starting from 52, which is absolutely unbelievable. We need 11 more to get to that goal. So if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Costs $0 to subscribe to the channel. I see it more as like following the channel. You're not subscribing for anything. You're subscribing for a good time, some good Bucs content. So if you haven't already, make sure to go and subscribe. Now, moving on to what we want to talk about. Mike Evans signs a 3-year contract worth $42.5 million with 16 guaranteed. There are incentives that he can earn more, but it's just amazing that we're losing out on Mike Evans. And the past 4 seasons, obviously this year a lot different with the injuries, but we know Mike Evans. We know what he can bring to a team, and we know what he's bringing to the 49ers. So it's just where do we go from here, right? Because we're losing more than just the 1K seasons. We're losing that leadership. We're losing the guy in the locker room. We're losing that guy in the community. And honestly, we're losing the red zone offense. Because if you guys know, of course you guys know because you watch every Bucs game, we like to target Mike Evans in those short distances near the goal line, that fade, that slant. We love throwing that to him. We still have Cade Otton because Cade Otton, re-signed. So we have that bigger target that we use down in the red zone. But Mike Evans, if you look at these stats, these are red zone stats for Mike Evans. 2025, obviously a little different, only 8 games played, but he had 8 targets, 4 receptions, 3 touchdowns, and targeted 13.6 times. Now, in 2024, with Liam Cohen, 15 targets, 8 receptions, 7 touchdowns, and almost 20% targeted. Now, in 2023, 14 targets, 5 receptions, 5 touchdowns, and targeted 23.5%. That is a lot. That is some guy that Baker Mayfield is looking at every time they're getting in the red zone. Either, like I said, for a slot fade or a slant or an out route. Like, he is the number 1 option that you want to go to if you're passing the ball. Obviously, if you're running it, it's a little different. But we need someone to find that role or fill in that role because, yes, Cade Otton is that red zone threat a little bit. But that's really all we got in terms of passing and that consistency and that comfortability that Baker Mayfield feels throwing the ball to Mike Evans. So we're going to have to find someone to fill that role. And we're going to look at some guys that, obviously aren't going to be a Mike Evans. That's not what I'm saying. This is not the next Mike Evans, but maybe somebody to fill that big target, contested catches, red zone type of guy. Now, with that being said, I just want to say thank you to Mike Evans for everything you've done for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't care if he's a 49er. I don't care if he goes somewhere else. He will always be a Buck for life. I think you guys know that. I know that. Everybody knows that. He's just turning a different chapter, trying something new. And all I can say is thank you. Thank you so much for what you've done for the community, what you've done for the team, and just everything. So what you've done for the fans, too. So speaking of let's just spam our 13s down in the comments right now. Show your love to the greatest Bucs wide receiver of all time. I thought it was kind of fun when I was doing this video. I was like, all right, let's see if I look up who is the best Bucs wide receiver of all time. And I was like, I wonder if they say Mike Evans. It was Mike Evans, and it said undeniably. So make sure to go in the comments, spam your 13s for Mr. Mike Evans. All right, now coming up, we're going to talk about the Mike Evans replacements. I had to go through a little spiel of, what we're losing and just the big hole in this wide receiver room that Mike Evans leaves. But we're going to have to fill it somehow. Pause. That was a little crazy conversation here. But, all right, moving on to what Greg Auman had. I don't know if you guys remember. I was a little sick, feeling a lot better now. So on Friday, or this was Thursday, but on Friday sort of took it into account as well. The Bucs restructured 2 of our players. Now, Luke Gedeke and Zion McCollum, we restructured them. So shout out to Greg with the new free agent signings become official. The Bucs are doing simple restructures on the contracts of tackle Luke Gedeke and corner Zion McCollum to create about $26 million in cap space for 2026. Normal cap work with cap hits now spread out between 2027 and 2030. Now, I was probably going to do something on this. I just really was not feeling good, and I apologize. So I wanted to make sure that we got it into this video today because according to Over the Cap, we are at $40.7 million in cap space, which is honestly a lot. I know you got to keep around 10, 12, somewhere around that range for the rookies that you sign in the NFL draft. So looking at about maybe 30 if you want to kind of roughly. Everything is sort of up in the air with everything that's going on with restructuring, signing free agents, and the draft. So we'll have to update or monitor that a little bit, but it's around 40 and then the rookies that you're going to have to sign. So let's look at some Mike Evans replacements. The first one on the list is going to be Jauan Jennings. Now, I can already hear the comments of you guys saying, oh, yeah, another veteran, he's 28, but a veteran wide receiver with some injury history. We just got rid of one of them. Yeah, I know. But he is the best option right now in terms of free agency. I'm not looking at Stephon Diggs. I'm not looking at Tyreek Hill. None of them. Jauan Jennings is a contested catch guy. He's 6'3", 212, 28 years old. His Spotrac value is $22.6 million a year. It's a lot more expensive than I'm willing to give up for a guy like Jauan Jennings because last year, 55 receptions, 90 targets, 643 yards. He kind of, with the whole Brandon Ayuk situation in San Francisco, he kind of slid in as that wide receiver 1. And he had 9 touchdowns, only 3 drops. And like I said, I don't know how much of a wide receiver 1 he's going to be, but he fills that role of what Mike Evans kind of was, that big target, contested catch, not super athletic, but can sort of sit in zones, find the open spot, and, sort of moss people a little bit. And, like I said earlier, another vet wide receiver with injuries. And I get it. I totally get that. But when you have a guy like Emeka Egbuka and Chris Godwin, they don't play the same role that Mike Evans had. And when you say, oh, Mike Evans replacements, it's because you've been so used to having Mike Evans on the field and pulling that defense towards him, because a lot of times you might need to double him in those short-range red zone situations. And now you don't have that, so it changes your offense a little bit. So you need a guy like Jennings who kind of not as well as Mike Evans, but sort of plays that same role in an offense. Now, my thoughts on this, I don't think Jauan Jennings should be our wide receiver 1. I think it should be Chris Godwin or Emeka Egbuka. But he will complement both of them, sort of like I was saying, how he can stretch the field a little bit, but I think having a guy like Jauan Jennings on the outside, it helps Emeka Egbuka and Chris Godwin sort of play their game, and Jauan Jennings has a different play style as them. Like I said, sort of that boundary where he can go up and get the ball, but obviously not as good as Mike Evans, but it will complement Godwin and Emeka Egbuka. So that's my first option. My projected contract for him, because I know the money side, it gets a little weird, but I think He's looking probably for a multi-year deal. I don't know if I want to give him 3 or 4. I would say 2 years, $35 million. That's about $17.5 million per year. So a lot lower than what Spotrac is thinking. I know PFF has something like a 3 years, maybe 60 something or something like that. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what he gets, but I think the range is probably 2 years, $35 million is what I would pay for him, because I don't want he gets injured sometimes. So we'll see. But my second option here is from the draft, and my third option, spoiler alert, it will be from the draft, because I did sort of say Jauan Jennings is the only good free agent wide receiver out there that I would be willing to take. But Elijah Sarratt, the Indiana wide receiver national championship, Fernando Mendoza, one of his targets on the Indiana squad, and he's 6'2", 209. Obviously not as tall as Mike Evans, but this is the type of guy that will go up and get the ball. Very, very athletic. Not huge route running. He's not a quick, speedy guy. But, I mean, Mike Evans was never the quick, speedy guy. But Elijah Sarratt, and I know just because he wears number 13, going to be Mike Evans, that's just a crazy coincidence. He just plays the same type of game. Now, he likes to sit in the zone, find the open space on the field, sort of like what Mike Evans likes to do, and he goes up and gets the ball. Contested catches, very good. Now, last year with the Indiana Hoosiers, 830 yards, 15 touchdowns, only 3 drops, an average of about 12.6. He likes to stretch the field. Obviously, he doesn't have crazy speed, but, the past 4 years, he has, gotten better, and I like to see when guys go from a James Madison, a St. Francis, and they go to a school like Indiana, where in 2024, 2025, very competitive in that Big Ten. So almost 1,000 yards in 2024, and then him and Omar Cooper sort of splitting up those receptions there and those targets from Fernando Mendoza. Got about almost 700 yards and 12 touchdowns. I mean, the guy's good. And here's what NFL Draft Buzz had to say on Elijah Sarratt. Sarratt snatches the ball away from his body with natural confidence and rarely lets contested catches slip through his fingers in traffic. Body control belongs in the excellent category. The leaping grab he made against Michigan State in 2024, contorting midair while maintaining positioning on the defender, shows what he can do at the catch point. Sounds a little bit like Mike Evans. This picture looks like something Mike Evans would do, sort of that 10-yard range where, they'll do a little shimmy and then you throw the ball up and he contorts his body and catches the ball. Looks a lot like Mike Evans. And Elijah Sarratt, we have the pick number 46 in the NFL draft. I'm not using number 1 or the first round pick 15 on a wide receiver. We got a lot more needs on defense. So I'm looking more of like a second round pick. And I did a couple mock drafts, and I looked up a couple mock drafts as well. Elijah Sarratt will be available if the board falls the way that we're thinking it will. You never know with the NFL draft, but I like that as a Mike Evans replacement. Moving on to our last one, we got Chris Brazzell II from Tennessee, also in the NFL draft. Sort of slotted in at that second round. Like I said, you never know at the NFL draft, so I'm talking about these guys as if they are going to be available. I'm not putting, Jordan Tyson or Mekhi Lemon in there. They are going in the first round. These are guys that are probably going in the second round, and they resemble more of a Mike Evans build, like a 6'5", 200-pound guy. He's actually slotted in 6'4", 6'5", 198, but, you like to round up sometimes. But last year, he had a very, very good year. He likes to stretch the field. 16.4 average on those catches, over 1,000 yards. 86 targets and 62 receptions, 9 touchdowns, only 2 drops. Now, excuse me, sorry. Still getting over my sickness. But in 2024, he only had 333 yards. Now, this was sort of like a breakout year for him. I was talking to our Tennessee Volunteers host for our channel here at Chat Sports, if any of you guys are a fan of Tennessee, make sure to go and follow him and subscribe to his channel because Mr. Joey Peterson. He's doing a great job. Now, I talked to him in the bullpen today about Chris Brazzell, and I was like, hey, like, what am I getting? I'm doing a Mike Evans replacement video. What do you think about Chris Brazzell? He goes, great option. That's if you're thinking about a Mike Evans replacement, for sure. And he was talking more about, like, he's good, but a lot of people think, with Jalen Hyatt not being good in the NFL, it's sort of like that gimmicky Tennessee offense. And I was like, oh no. And he was like, but he did say something at the Combine about that. And I wanted to show you that because we did have a team in the Combine. So let's check out what Chris Brazzell had to say about the offense.
I'll be real, like 2020, the year you talk about Jalen Hyatt and them, I didn't play in that offense. This last year was a completely different offense than what y'all are kind of known for, or y'all think Tennessee offense is. 2024 and 2025, those are two different offenses with Nico and Joey. So I was really playing more regular, traditional offense this last year versus like any other year at Tennessee.
So that totally makes me feel a lot better. More pro style, more NFL-like offense. So it's not as gimmicky where he's randomly getting open and this is, it's only going to work in college because Jalen Hyatt, we thought he was going to be crazy good in the NFL, and he turned out to be a bust for the Giants. So that makes me feel a lot better, and what Joey had to say about him was great because if you look at his RAS score from the NFL Combine, the guy ran a 3 or a 4.3, would be crazy, 4.37 40-yard dash at 6'5". That is amazing. He's lengthy. He gets down the field. And, he had the second largest wingspan of a wide receiver under 200 pounds at the NFL Combine since 2003. So if you're talking about a Mike Evans replacement, a guy that can go up and get the ball, you have that long wingspan, he's going up to get that ball over any corner. If you're talking about NFL corners, yes, they're NFL corners, but he's 6'5", man, and he's got the second largest wingspan since 2003. You put some weight on this guy, dude, he's going to be good. So let's see what Lance Zierlein from NFL had to say about him. Long-limbed Z receiver with the ability to create downfield for an offense, thirsty to make more explosive plays outside. I think we need that. Brazzell's 2025 tape shows the game slowing down for him, allowing the production to catch up with the traits. He builds to speed with long strides and dominates above the rim. He's adept at using length and body control to capture airspace against cornerbacks. So that is huge. Playing above the rim, we're talking about Mike Evans plays above the rim. Are you kidding me? He plays above the rim. And that is like the definition of his game. If you throw it up to Mike Evans, he's going up and getting the ball, and he rarely drops the ball. So when you talk about a guy like Chris Brazzell being able to play above the rim, that's what we're looking for in terms of a Mike Evans replacement. Can't replace number 13, though. But you can build a good wide receiver room around him and find a guy that plays the same type of way. Now, we're not going to get those 1,000-yard receptions or 1,000-yard receiving yards years from a Chris Brazzell and Elijah Sarratt. Obviously, that would be amazing if that happened. But Mike Evans is one of a kind, and you can only replace the type of game he plays. And if you can do that, you can make your offense just a little bit better after losing number 13. Now, I want to ask you guys towards the end of this video now, thank you for sticking around. What do you think the Bucs will do at number 46 in the NFL draft? You think they'll go wide receiver? You think they'll go with either an edge or a linebacker? Because hopefully, I hope they go with an edge or a linebacker in round 1 and then go again in the other one. Say they take an edge in first round, take a linebacker in the second round. That's what I'm thinking has happened. But if you think they're going to take a wide receiver, type WR in the comments. Type edge if you think they're going with the edge rusher, or type LB if you think they're going with the linebacker. I want to hear from you guys down in the comments section. Now, before I get out of here, I just want to remind you guys we're trying to get to our goal of 1,500 subscribers on the channel. So if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. You get fun, free content like this daily, especially if I'm feeling a lot better than I was before. But thank you so much for watching to the end of today's video. I really, really appreciate it. And if you haven't already, Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. As always, fire the cannons.